Hello everyone, this is Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America, written by Jeff Ryan. I like this book for a few different reasons, and I'll get into those at the end. First, I just want to sum it up a little bit. Jeff summarizes this is the history of Nintendo, using Mario as a way to sort of advance the story that he's trying to tell. I had talked to Jeff through emails and asked him if it was possible for him to have used one of Nintendo's other flagship mascots, some of the ones that have been around as long as Mario, or almost as long as Mario, like Zelda, Donkey Kong, and one that I forgot to mention to him, but I pretty much would agree with him anyway on this, is Samus. You can't really tell Nintendo's history by using one of those characters simply because they weren't pushed as hard as Mario was. Mario got thrown into pretty much any game that you could possibly think of. Racing, educational, fighting, sort of the party games. He was thrown into artistic with Mario Paint. He was in a bunch of games that I honestly didn't even know that he was in. I know the Gaming Historian does quite a few. He has a few videos about games that Mario is like secretly in that you might not have known, and I really recommend checking those out if you want to know more about them. But right now, I just want to focus on Jeff's book. There are a few things in here that they're really just minor issues, to be honest with you. He does get a few of the names of characters spelled wrong. He calls Samus Aran, he calls her Samus Aru. He says that Bowser is the end boss of Super Mario 2, which it's not true if you look at it from the version that we got here in the US. The version in the US, he fights Wart, a giant frog. But in Japan, he does fight Bowser at the end of Super Mario 2. We just got that as Super Mario Lost Levels when we got Super Mario All-Stars. So I'd kind of give him a pass on that one, because it's true for Japan, just not true for the United States. Another thing he says, and when I first read the book I thought, well, that's not really true, was when he says Wario is Mario's evil twin. After reading it again, I sort of understand what he's saying. He's not saying that they're related, he's just saying Wario is the evil version of Mario, which he is, that's true. But those are really the only things that I sort of thought were weird in the book. The rest of it seems pretty good. It's very Mario-centric, which is obviously the goal that he's going for with the book. The last chapter in this book, it might be different if you get another version. This is sort of the newer version that was put out. He added in a chapter sort of detailing the first year of the Wii U and also the Nintendo DS. It's kind of an interesting thing he did with that. He follows sort of the stock market price going up and down, and that's sort of relating to like natural disasters that happened around the time. That's when like the large earthquake and tsunami hit Japan. And also sort of the problems that they had with the Nintendo DS, sort of that initial launch, which was a really bad launch for the DS, and also sort of the lack of first-party support on the DS initially. They didn't really get a lot of really good first-party games until later. And that sort of laid the groundwork for the Wii U, that the Wii U also didn't really get a lot or really any third-party support, and that sort of kind of doomed the system. It wasn't a huge problem because Nintendo obviously since this is 2018 now, they didn't go away. But it's a very interesting way to look at it. Probably, like, the reason he used Mario, and some parts that he points out about Mario's personality in this I really agree with. Uh, Mario is a character that doesn't really have a personality per se. He's sort of a blank slate that any player can sort of insert themselves into. For example, Sonic, everybody knows Sonic has an attitude. So when you don't play the game long enough, he starts tapping his foot at you. He's got a very distinct character and a very distinct personality. For example, with the original Mario, if you don't play long enough, Mario just stands there and doesn't do anything. He just waits for you to basically move him along. Yeah. So that's sort of the reason why they could throw Mario into any game out there, because Mario's a blank slate, he fits into every game. So, yeah, it's kind of my feeling of the book. The book is, I think it's well written. I think he did a lot of good research. And one thing that is really great, he added his sources in the book so I can go and check them out to make sure he isn't misrepresenting the information. For anyone writing a book about video game history, please put your sources in it. It is the only way that I can make sure that you are not basically lying or misrepresenting what the actual game or the actual information about the game is. That's pretty much all I have. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If there's a book that you want me to review, please let me know in the comments. Have a good night.